Hello, welcome to the Ninjutsu podcast. I'm your host, Don Rowley. This time around, I'm going to talk about how to make good notes and be able to keep the knowledge that you pay so much for in money, sweat, and tears to retain. I've got a lot of books that I can sell, but I'm going to recommend a book that I do not sell. I did not write it, but really is a good book. So right out of the gate, I want to recommend the book "Make It Stick" by Peter C. Brown, Henry L. Roy Deger III, and Mark A. McDonald. Okay. Now I want you to note that this is a library book. I borrowed it from the library. My library also has audiobooks of this and digital copies. I highly recommend people check books out like this first, and read them. Typically, I've got so many books. If I can get it from the library rather than buy it, that's typically what I will do. Otherwise, I'd have even more space taking over my place, filled with bookshelves. But some books like this, Make It Stick, after I read them, I'm very, very tempted to buy them because they are such good reference materials and you keep going back for them. I think that if you borrow this from the library and read it, you probably too will go out and buy it from Amazon. But always good to read it first and then make that decision. Now, about the book, yes, it's mainly for academic, but there is stuff about skills and things that do relate to learning taijutsu. A summation of the book is that friction is good. There's a lot of things out there about how to make learning easy. This dispels a lot of myths. This describes how having to go back and actively relive, relearn, or recall, you might say, rather than just passive reading of notes. It's more like tests or stuff like that, among other things. And one of the things that kind of that was not new to me. I mean, this destroyed a lot of myths that I believed in. But one of the things that I was familiar with was the retention gap, how fast you lose things. So when you're taking notes after a class or during a class of taijutsu, basically, if you do not write it down, almost immediately, you start to lose it really quick. If you wait till the next day, I've heard some, there's different figures, probably about 70% will be gone if you wait until the next morning. So my way of taking notes when I was living in Japan and learning, on the train ride home or when I drove, as soon as I got home, boom, immediately started writing things down, free form, anything that I can remember. And most of these, not most of them, but a lot of this stuff was things that I needed to work on. If something came up in class and I needed to work on it, I wrote it, like where my knee angle was, I would write it down free form. And sometimes, I'd get home and I'd write it up and all that. And I just try to get as much information as I could down while it was still in my head. The next day, I would go through those notes and I would make, there's two different things. First of all, it would be a journal of the class. So I would have, I'd still have these, and they are they're like a diary. And I would go through all the notes and kind of highlight them and then make sense of them during my downtime at work. That way, I had like what went on. I even put down, the name of the person I trained with. For the next few weeks, basically, I went over the stuff that I really needed to work on. Like if I had problems with my knee being in the wrong direction, that's what I would work on. Hopefully, when I came back to them later on, my knee's problems would be, better. So I didn't put that out. I would put that down in the journal. For this, such and such sensei said that I had problems with dropping my guard or whatever, and that would be part of the journal. Then there was a third part. If there was anything like kata or something from a school, I had notebooks, loose leaf pages, put them in, old school. Okay, I guess you can do it now with computers, but there's something about writing things down, I think, especially when you want to do illustrations. And that would be, like if I have notebooks for Gyokoru and the kata, boom, 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 kotoru, all that set up. So basically, like there's three sections: freestyle forms as soon as possible, journal of what went on in that class, and then whatever school we did, whatever kata we did, there would be notes on that. Those are three things. Now there's also one other thing that I did, and it's very easy to do. And that is that, with everyone's got a camera now in their phone. And there's very many, there's a lot of different things that you can make into actual documents. There's Microsoft Word, there's iPages if you use a Mac, stuff like that. And really, one way of going about it is to use what's this called Bodycoon. This is what I'm using now. This is I got it off of eBay. They're not too expensive, but basically, that kind of, you can move the characters around, and when you buy them, they come with, knife, sword, and pistol. Here we go. So they're not too big. I mean, they're about this big, stuff like that. And they've got a little thing that will hold them up. There's a hole in the back there. So if you flying kicks, you can arrange it. And again, just take a picture and then import the picture into a program and just boom. They're not exact. You can't make it exactly as a live model, but these are to remind you. These are not for, selling books. It's a very good thing. In fact, when I was in Japan, they had something else aside from Bodycoon that I used. And, they had the, the body form, without faces and whatever. And they had other ones. And, some of the people that I've actually shared notes with after they've gone to class with me, we went to the same class, get a little joke, get a little laugh out of the fact that, I actually had Batman facing off the Predator from the Predator movie. It was a little bit fun. But that's it. Again, that's those are some ways of basically being able to retain and information and such. And I want to kind of throw something out for the teachers out there, people that teach seminars and such like that. One thing that I do is that when I teach a seminar, like I'm going to be teaching Ninjutsu out in Maryland in April, I prepare a pamphlet myself, a little booklet. Again, taking pictures, not with Bodycoon, but with actually I get together with my students, I put something together, and of course there's one page with the pictures and blank on the other side. They make great notebooks. You just sell them for like $6-7, depending on the size, whatever. And, you offer them to people, to cover your costs. You charge for them. And if you have breaks for people making notes, they are a great, to build around. They know the general outline of the movements of the kata and such that you teach are there. So they can write notes for things like, I'm having problems with using my knees at this point. Need to work on that. So that, I hope, will help out people to help retain. Again, first thing you should do, don't buy my books. Well, you can buy my books, but make it stick. I highly recommend. And then, again, 3 different ways of writing notes. Immediate, next day journal, then notes for each kata, school of kata. And also, if, you can take pictures, and even, just mentioned this earlier, sometimes you can take film in class. If you're not at the class, the film doesn't really make, really doesn't help much, but it does help other people. One of my students tends to, film class and then post it on our Facebook group so that people can remember and then form those notes for themselves. If you have any questions, drop them in the notes. If you have any suggestions on how to keep and retain things that you learn in class or seminars, please put them down there for other people to read. And if I think it's good, I might make another video on it to help reach other people. So if you want to be given credit or not, let me know when you drop the suggestions. I'm doing this to try to help people out because I know I really need help still, even to this day. And not to, sound egotistical, but I'm a lot better than a lot of the people that are out on YouTube right now. That's not high praise for myself. Anyways, take care. See you later. Bye.